Welcome back to Gin Reviews of Middle Tennessee. Tonight I am so happy and proud to show this bottle off. This is right here, Hammer & Son Old English Gin. Isn't that cool? Look at that bottle. It's a champagne bottle of sorts with a wax seal and I'm guessing there's a cork in there somewhere where we're going to have to use one of these old bastards. Alright, so we're at 44%. I love it already. It is a classic, but it's also considered a Old Tom. It is there's sweetener added after the distillation, so it is an Old Tom. So there's a little bit of stuff that I learned about it, which is pretty cool. Let's go over it like this. When buying gin in the 1700s and 1800s, you'd be offered a simple choice: English gin or Holland gin. Holland gin was known as a Geneva, a 35% ABV juniper-based sipping spirit, where English gin was at a much higher ABV with many more botanicals added. English gin was branded fancy names as Young Tom and Old Tom, or named after the distillery or the distiller, such as Plymouth, Warrington, and Tanqueray. At the time, England was the largest importer of French champagne, and since bottles were expensive and gin originally was a poor man's spirit, the champagne bottles would be reused and filled with gin for consumers to buy at the gin shops. Oh man, there's a fly in here and it's driving me kind of crazy. Anyway, Hammer & Son Old English Gin is made from a 1783 recipe, distilling 11 botanicals, and the oldest pot still being used in England today. Old English Gin will come in champagne bottles with a natural cork, organic wax, and silk print, as I did back in 1783, which is all advertised right there. Very cool. Look, there's a punt and the silk print. Cool. Alright, so the first recorded use of the word cocktail is found in the Morning Post and Gazetteer in London on March 20th in 1798. But obviously people had been drinking spirits in many constellations a long time before then. In the 17th century, the most common way of drinking alcohol was straight up, or from bowls. Bowls? Mixed with sugar, water, fruit, spices, and spirits. The so-called punches that were adopted in from India by the Englishmen in the early 1600s. In 1731, James Ashley, the first English celebrity bartender, opens the sign of the two punch bowls. I get it. In London, where he was serving various punches, he would use fruits and the season, whatever spices that were floating around, and he definitely would be using gin as the base spirits. So with this, they have gathered a selection of the 10. Okay, so this is really cool. The 10 botanicals that are not even listed anywhere, but I found through a few websites are juniper, of course, coriander, orange, lemon, cassia, licorice, angelica, and orris. Okay, and so that's 10. The 11th is right here. You see it right there? That little thing right there? That's cardamom. That's what cardamom is. It's so cool. It's like clever. They hid it on the bottle. Anyway, let's open this bastard up and see how the old gin tom tea tastes and smells. All that good stuff. Well, I'm sure there's like a way of doing this, but I can't think of any other way than just to use this friggin' knife right here and kind of break open the wax. Yeah. Let's back up a little bit so you don't see it. It is. I can contest. It's wax, and it's not fun wax. It's all like brittle, gonna be everywhere kind of wax. Remember wax lips? What the hell was that? Who the hell did someone ever eat those? I remember someone telling me it was like you chew on them. Why would you do it? It tastes like nothing. Alright, come on. Well, I don't really cut myself or destroy this, so... The music got really somber here. Oh, there we go. Clarinet's coming back. Wow, this really is like a labyrinth to get into the gin. I'm surprised there really was a gin act. How do people get drunk if they had to do this? Alright, well, as you can see, there's really no difference, but I haven't used one of these things in a while, so bear with me. So, I was looking around for this thing, and I was like, I know I have one of these somewhere. Where in my truck? The only reason it's in my truck is because when I... It's not because I drink wine in the truck, trust me. But when I left ye old farm and goat village out there in Wiles, the last thing I remember taking was this. I was like, she's not going to get this thing. She doesn't even like to drink. Oh, there is a cork. Alright, well, we're going to have to do the pop test, right? I mean, obviously. Well, that was pathetic. There wasn't even a pop. There was a squeak, but it's not the same. Well, I could say that the cork is authentic cork from a cork tree out there in England somewhere. And it is, look, labeled there, see? Old gin, love. Alright, well, I'm so excited about this. Let's see. Oh. Well, it looks like every other gin I ever poured in a shot glass. Okay, well, wait a minute. Alright, well, there's definitely juniper there. I mean, coming out right away. Citrus. But I can't pinpoint what it is. But there's definitely a citrus behind the juniper. We're just gonna have to down it and see what happens. Oh my god. Wow, it is definitely an Old Tom. Okay. Ooh. Let me enjoy this. Okay. Juniper up front, definitely. The cardamon's definitely there. Cinnamon, nutmeg I taste in the background. It's smoky, it's spicy, it's viscous, it's creamy. It has a good burn. Like, it's a different burn though. It's a strong burn. Like, in the beginning I couldn't even talk. That's how strong it was. I had to just like savor it there. Wow, every single, you know, so cool. This is what they were drinking back in the day. I mean, they basically took a 1783 gin recipe and with no detail too small to overlook, and then they recreated it in the oldest pot still that's in England. So they're trying to get to their roots here, which I really respect, and I also love. Oh man, so good. Alright, well, just a little water to cleanse me here before I do my standard. Now, I don't know, wait, let's think. They would have had gin and tonic in 1783, but I'm sure it wasn't as good as Fever Tree is. Or they might not have had ice readily available as we do now. What am I doing? Alright, well, like always, one shot rule here. Fever tree, come to me. Yeah. Alright. Love that. Love it. Love it. I mean, I had to put it in a goblet here, right? I mean, probably did drink gin or every other spirit out of some kind of goblet.